Hi there, welcome back to JD Answers. Today I have the VANTRUE N4 Pro, and what we're going to do is we're going to go over the menu. I'm going to show you step by step on how to set the settings. So first, before we do that, the first thing we got to do is go over the buttons that are in the bottom of the screen. So we could start on the side of the camera itself. On there, it has a hazard icon and it has a power icon. That one you could turn off and on the dash cam by utilizing that button. And you could also press that to lock the current video. So right now you see it's recording on the bottom. There's a red dot. That red dot that's blinking indicating that the dash cam is recording, and that number next to it is the loop recording time. And let me get you a closer look of that. Here you go, you can see a little better. Now, if I press the button on the side of the dash cam, on the left side, the orange button, if I press that, that's going to lock the current video. Now, this is in case something's happening in front of you. Not necessarily the car hit you, but you see an accident happening in front of you or behind you, and you want to record the incident. You could simply press that orange button, and you could see how right there it locked the current video, and it actually took a snapshot too at the same time. And that's indicating that the current footage is being recorded and is locked. That means it's not going to be overridden by loop recording. So now let's get to the first button on the left of the bottom of the screen. Now the first button underneath the screen, now the first bottom left button underneath the screen is the OK button. This is to turn off and on the recordings. It's right here like we did a little while ago. We press that button and you see the recording stopped. This is also the OK button when you're going through your menu. Now the button to the right of that is your up button. And this helps you toggle between the menu and your screens. All right, so next one to the right of that is your down button. And this one also you could turn off and on the recording. So you see that little icon right here. This is the microphone icon. If you press that, you see that the audio has turned off. And on the top right over here, which let me back out a little bit, you can see how the icon, the microphone icon has a line through it. That's indicating that it's off. Now we want to turn this back on. Simply turn it and you see the microphone turn back on, and the line through the microphone is out. It's not there anymore. Now to the right of that is your up button. When you toggle to the menu, you use that. But this also gets to your screen. So right now we have it on the rear camera. And if we press that button, you have the front camera, and then you have the back camera, which is picture in picture. It's sideways because I'm doing a video, so I had to turn the dash cam. And you can see how it all changes. This is your front camera, this is the cabin, and this is the rear camera. So the second button is your up button or is your toggle between screens. Now besides the microphone, if you long press it, you'll go into parking mode. There it is. It's going to stop recording and enter collision mode. But you need to have a HARDWIRE kit installed in order for this to happen. I'm going to turn on the dash cam by hitting the orange button on the side, and it'll turn on the dash cam. There it goes. It's on collision mode, and when the icon turns off, it'll go back into a recording. All right, now I'm going to click that button underneath to take it off collision. Let's long press that. All right, there it goes. Now it's back on regular recording. Now to the right of that is your menu button to get into the menu. But in order to do that, the recording must be turned off. So we're going to turn off the recording by hitting the left button on the left, and the counter is going to stop, which it did. Now we could go in there and we could get into our menu settings. Now let's hit back. And that button also is your Wi-Fi to turn off or on your Wi-Fi. So I'm going to long press it. Long press means hold it until an action starts. And you can see that happening right there. The Wi-Fi is off. Now we long press it again. You hold it down to an action. You could switch to a 5G or a 2.4G. Which one do you want to turn on? If you want the 2.4G, you could left arrow that or right arrow to the 5G. I'm going to leave it on 5G, so when I transfer videos from my cell phone to the dash cam, well, it's going to go faster with the 5G. Now we notice we just turned this on. Now, if you notice underneath how the OK button was the far left button, the up button is also the left button, the down button is also the right button, and the last button is also your return button, which turns it off and on your Wi-Fi, the same one. So now we're in that menu. We like this one. We're going to hit OK. And now we're back to the screen. And you see now it's on 5G. So that's what the buttons, and that's what they represent, and that's what happens when you press them. So now let's get into the menu. So we got to turn off our recording. We're going to click on the far left button, turn it off, and then we're going to click the far right button, and now we're into the record setup. So this is our first one, so let's get into that one. So we're going to click, we got to hit OK. It's not a touchscreen. And you go into your resolution. So here you can select the different resolutions you want. We're going to hit OK. And you got a front, cabin, and rear if you want to select the resolutions for that one. Or the front and cabin if you want to just utilize those two cameras. Or the front and rear if you want to utilize those cameras, or just the front. And you could arrow down or arrow up to you want. Well, I want to use all three cameras. This is the reason I bought this dashcam. So I'm going to hit OK. And here you could select the different resolutions you want. You could go 4K, and it has choices for the inside and the rear camera. Again, 2K with different choices for the inside and rear camera, and so forth and so forth. And you go all the resolutions you want. All right, so I'm going to keep mine on 4K because this is the reason I bought it. And this camera really has the 4K quality. All right, we're going to hit OK. And we're going to hit arrow back one more time. And the next one is loop recording. And we hit OK to get in there. And you got off 1 minute, 3 minute, or 5 minute loop recordings. Now, I set mine on 5 minutes. So if I'm going through a 20-minute span that I got to research for some file that I need, or an accident that happened in the video, well, I could go through 4 5-minute videos rather than going to 20 1-minute videos. So that's why I like to keep mine on 5 minutes. Now, if you need more information on loop recording, I'll put a link in the description down below, because there's more involved in loop recording in this dashcam, and you really need to know all the features of this. All right, next one down is your IR LEDs. Now, what this does, if you get into it, turn it on, you could automatically turn on, or have it all the way off, or leave it all the way on. And what this does, it brightens up the dashcam for the inside cabin right there. So around there, there's going to be some lights that come on, and that way, when you're in the dark, it shines a light. Now, you really can't really see it. It's not like flashlights flashing at you, but it's just some IR LED lights that will come on. That way, you can see the footage inside your dashcam, or just really when it's dark. I'm going to leave mine on auto. We're going to get out of there. Next one is your G sensor. And we're going to turn this on. Well, we're going to press OK, I'm sorry. Here, you can set it 3 different ways. You can set your front and rear, your left and right side of your vehicle, or up and down. Now let's go to each one. For the front and rear, you can set this to 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. My recommendation is to keep it on 3 as the default. But I'm going to go one more down to 2, because I live in an area where there's speed bumps, and I live in traffic, so there's a lot of hard braking. So any of those actions will cause your G sensor to activate and lock that current file. All right, I'm going to back out of that, and we're going to go down 1 to left and right. We're going to hit OK. We're going to move it up to 2, and we're going to hit OK. Move down to up and down, hit OK. We're going to move it up to 2, and there you go. Now, this is your preference. So if you think you need to up your G sensor, you could do it this way. This is how you do it. Now, for more information on G sensor, I'll put a link in the description down below, because loop recording and G sensor go hand in hand. And you got to watch these videos, that way you take full advantage of these features. All right, so let's exit out of there. We're going to arrow down 1. And we're going to go to privacy mode. Now, if you click on this, we're going to hit OK. Now, what's going to happen is it's going to erase everything from your micro SD card. And then it's going to start recording. And then when you turn it off, it's going to erase everything again, because these are private videos that you only want to record. I don't use this, so I'm going to leave it on off. I'm going to arrow back and go back to the main menu. I'm going to go down to audio recording. Now, this is all the audio that's inside your vehicle. So you could turn this off or on. It's kind of like what we did in the beginning when we hit the key in the bottom and it turned off and on your recording. Same thing if you want to do it through here. I'm going to leave mine on. I'm going to arrow out, and go back down 1 for audio noise reduction. And we're going to click OK. So what this does is it automatically will lower the volume. It would automatically lower the noise so it could record a 4K quality video when it really needs that extra quality. So I'm going to leave mine on, and I recommend you do the same thing. So let's get out of there. We're going to arrow down 1 for exposure, and we're going to hit OK. Now for the front camera, you could adjust your exposure there. Now mine, I had to adjust it because the videos looked a little too dark. So I had to adjust mine because it all depends if you're facing the sun, if you're not facing the sun's on the right side or whatever. In most cases, I drive during the morning and late at night. So I need to brighten this up a little bit. So that's what I did. Now again, it's your preference, whatever you want to set it on. So I'm going to arrow back out. I'm going to go down to cabin and we'll hit OK. And I have mine on 0. It's fine there. For the rear camera, I'm going to hit OK, and you can see I adjusted to +6 because again it all depends on the area you're at. All right, I'm going to arrow back out and get back out, arrow down 1, and recording status light. So it pretty much does what it says. So if you have your recording light on, we're going to hit OK, or you could turn it off when if you don't want that light to show, because some people just like it completely dark. And we're going to hit OK. And you notice that light on the side turned off, that green light. So we hit OK again, arrow back to on, we hit OK, and the green light just turned back on over here. So that's what it is. I'm going to leave mine on. It's just a safety net that I know it's recording and it has the status light on there. All right, arrow down 1, HDR, we're going to hit OK. So you could adjust the front camera, cabin, or rear. So we get in there, we're going to hit OK. I have the front HDR on, which is good. Get out of there, cabin, go down, hit OK. It's on there. It could stay on, that's fine. Again, it's your preference. Rear, HDR on. All right, now what HDR is, it's high dynamic range. So what this does is it balances all the low light and bright lights that when you're driving. All right, so let's get out of there. And we go one more down. So we're going to click OK for rotate display. And the front cabin, you can see how this one is not marked on, but the rear is marked on. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that one off. I'm going to hit OK. And you can see how this whole thing just went upside down. I'm going to click OK again. And let's get into that. We're going to click OK. Well, actually, we got to go the opposite way over here now. And I'm going to click OK again. And you can see how it turned the display up. So this is if your dash cam was flipped upside down. All right, so I'm going to arrow down for the rear, and I'm going to click OK. All right, so I'm going to get out of the screen, and we're going to go to the main screen. And you can see how the image is upside down. So if you installed your rear dash cam in a unique way, you could do this. You could flip it upside down. So let's go back into the menu. And you can see how the image is back and the right side up. And now we have a mirror mode. So what this does, it takes whatever's on the left side to the right and vice versa, whatever's on the right to the left. So we're going to get back to the main screen again. And I wanted you to notice the car on this side, on the right side. And we're going to hit OK. And for the rear camera, I'm going to go down and we're going to hit OK. And it's not check marked anymore. Go back out, out, out. And you can see the car now is on the left side. So that's what it means. But that's on the wrong side because that one is actually on my right side of my vehicle. So let me go back in there and fix that. Arrow down to rear, hit OK, back out of there. And now we're back. Now the next one is your number plate. And we're going to hit OK. And we could turn this off or on. We're going to turn this on. And we're going to hit OK. And now you could put your vehicle number on there, like your license plates, or if you're a business, the vehicle number, or you could put your name. And the way we do that is we use the arrow keys up and down. So we're going to go arrow up, and it gives you two numbers. So let's do 5. We're going to hit OK. For the next one, we're going to go 8. And we're going to hit OK. And we're going to go up this time, all the way to the alphabet. And you go Z. Now, if you want to start from the bottom, let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're into A. So let's do A. Okay, go down for B. and arrow down 1 for C. Okay, so once we got our plate we have, what we could do now is hit OK, and it's going to be on your footage. So I'm going to show you a footage of the current recording that's going to be on there, and you're going to see the 5/8 ABC. So I'm going to get out of there, and I'm going to show you that next. All right, next one we have is stamp. We're going to hit OK. Now, you could have these stamps on your footage, and it gives you individual ones. You got the date and time. You have the brand stamp, which is the VANTRUE. You could turn that off or on. All you got to do is take that off if you don't want that. I'm okay with leaving it on. Next one's your license plate number, the one we just did. Your speed stamp and GPS location if you don't want that on there. So like if we go up to speed stamp, this just gives you your miles per hour on your footage. If you want it on or off, it's up to you. You could do that. If you don't want it, you could click that. And again, the GPS location is your north, east, west, whichever one you're going, your longitude, latitude will be on there. I'm going to leave mine all on. And we're going to go down to the next one, which is time lapse. All right, next one we're going to go into is time lapse. So we're going to set OK. And then you could choose either 1 frames per second, 5 frames per second, 10 frames per second, or 15 frames per second. But let me tell you exactly what this does. Time-lapse speeds up the video, which records more time with less file space. The time-lapse feature allows a 3-channel dashcam to shoot continuously at low frame rates, allowing 24 times more recording time on the same memory card. Next one, we have parking mode, and we're going to set OK. And you could turn the collision detection on, or you could turn the motion detection on, low bit rate mode, or low frame rate mode. All right, we're going to go back up and we're going to go to collision detection. Now what this one is, let's select it first. And there's several ones you could choose from. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 is the maximum sensitivity. So on this one, I'm probably going to go ahead and leave it on 5. That way, if anybody touches my car, bumps my car, even by a small accident, I'm going to go ahead and want to make sure I capture that video. Now again, this is only when you're parked. So if a shopping cart hits you, or somebody just wants to sit on your car, or a car backs up and bumps on you, you have the video footage there. All right, so we're going to click OK. And then we're going to go to motion detection, and we're going to click OK. Now you can set this to low, medium, or high. But there's a second menu that goes to this, and we're going to go to that later. This is just the sensitivity. So if you want the motion detection, meaning if somebody walks by your car in the front or in the back, or even if somebody breaks a window, gets inside the car, it's going to turn on and start recording. When it starts recording, it's going to start recording 10 seconds before and 30 seconds after the motion detection. I'm not really going to use this. I'm going to go, if I do, I probably will put it on low. And I'm going to hit OK. Now, you can only choose one of these. So if you want collision detection and then you go into low bit rate mode, it will select low bit rate mode because that was the last one that you selected. All right, so now let's go into low bit rate mode. And here are your choices. You can record 1080p at 15 frames per second or 720p at 15 frames per second. Now, this, what it does, again, it's kind of like time-lapse. It speeds up your video. Low bit recording saves hours of footage as small files to save on your SD card space. I'm going to get out of there and I'm going to go to the next one, which is low frame rate mode. And we're going to click OK. Then you got low frame rate mode, and you could select 1 frames per second, 5 frames per second, 10 frames per second, or 15 frames per second. Whatever you select and your car goes into parking mode, it's going to wait 5 minutes before it turns on. And then it's going to start recording at the frames per second that you have here. Now, low frame rate mode is similar to time-lapse recording function. The difference is that there is no 5-minute entry for time-lapse recording, which will be directly turned on after it sets to parking mode. So these are your choices you have. Now, the one that's most used, if you get into parking mode, let's go up here, is going to be collision detection or motion detection. It's just giving you more choices with low bit rate recording and low frame rate recording if you have a longer extended period of time. All right, so we're going to get out of there. And we're going to go to low light night vision in parking mode. When this is turned on, the dashcam will optimize the recording effect of videos in parking mode. So in other words, it'll give you a little better picture of it if you use this feature. So right now we go into it, you could turn this off or on. Well, I'm going to take advantage of every feature this dashcam has, so I'm going to leave it on. And we're going to arrow back to get out of there, and we're going to go to the next one. The next one is collision detection in parking mode. Now, if we get in there, now in these two modes, you got power saving mode and quick start mode. So it's pretty much what it does. So when you have it on power saving mode, the dash cam will go to sleep, and when it detects something, it will turn on and start recording. Now in quick start mode, the dash cam will continue to be on. That way it could actually start a recording right away. And I'm going to leave it on quick start mode. And we're going to hit OK, and we're going to get out of there. All right, let's go to the next one, which is motion detection area. Now, this is the one that I talked about, that there's a separate menu for motion detection, and this is it. Now, this one, you could select the area that you want. Now, let's start with the front area detection, and we're going to hit OK. Now, you see there's a screen in there, and you can see the picture by its lit up, by its light. Now, the dark area is what we're going to be working on. Now, there's a 3x right here that you see. And what we're going to do is we're going to go down to adjust the area. You see that? You can adjust it back and forth. All right, it starts up again. And you select the area that you want. And what you want to go is right above your hood, or if you want to go down, do you see that? Capture the hood. Now my camera is pointed to the left. That way I can record this video. It's not straight. So that's why you see the side of the house like that. But you can see part of my hood right here in the bottom. So if you want your hood, you could do that. Now say you want more to the right or left, then you click the right button here. Right here you see the area moving, and then it goes back. So you can adjust it as anywhere you want. And I'm going to keep mine in the middle, okay? Now, that's where I want it. Now, look at this. Now, if we hit the right button where it says 3x, you can see where it's now 4x and you get more area. 5x, you get the whole screen. So if you have stuff on the left and right, like nobody's going to go into, well, you could adjust that to 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Now, the more area it's going to capture. So that is up to you and what you need for that. I'm going to keep mine on 3. I'm going to keep it in the middle. All right, that's your preference. Now we're going to get out of there. We're going to hit OK. Now let's go to the rear one. Now we're going to hit OK. All right, now for the rear one, you really can't control the down, and what we could do is adjust the 5x where it goes to 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Well, I don't need all this. So all I'm going to do is go back to 1, 2, and keep it on 3. Again, this is your preference on what you want to do. All right, I like it there. I'm going to hit OK, and we're going to get out of there. Arrow back one more, and we're going to go down one. And now we're into mileage statistics, and we're going to hit OK. And you could turn this off or on. Now, in mileage statistics, records and analyzes the user's driving time, driving mileage, altitude, driving speed, and other information through the GPS information. You can export the mileage files through your app. All right, I'm gonna leave mine on because I really like this function. I want to see more of my driving information. All right, so I'm gonna get out of this. We're gonna hit OK. And we're gonna go down one to GPS settings. We're gonna hit OK. And here we go. First one is GPS. We're gonna hit OK. And you could turn this off or on. Well, I want to utilize all the functions, so I'm gonna leave it on. Next one is your speed unit. We're gonna hit OK. And this is miles per hour or kilometers per hour. I live in the US, so I'm gonna leave it on miles per hour. We're gonna hit OK. Next one down. Now this is just your GPS information here. As long as these are lit and they're not white, they have some color in them, that's what you want. That means it's working. All right, we're going to get out of there. And we're going to get out of there one more time. And we're going to go down. And we're back to the main menu. All right, since we're there, we're going to go back one. I'm going to go to the right. And we're going to go to our system setup. And we're going to hit OK. Now here you can select your language. We're going to hit OK. Several languages to choose from. You could use the left and right arrow to toggle. I'm going to leave it there. We're going to hit OK. Next one is your Wi-Fi. So let's hit OK. And your Wi-Fi is auto on. We're going to select OK. And here you could turn off after 10 minutes, or you could just leave it on all the time. I would say use the default turn off after 10 minutes, because if you connect the app and you say to connect all the time, well, when you get in your car, it's always going to be connected to your cell phone. But however, if you use GPS information off your cell phone, or want to get emails while you're driving, or just want to make sure you're current, you're not going to be able to use that, because it's always going to be connected to your dashcam. Dashcam does not provide internet. It's just a Wi-Fi connection from your dashcam to your cell phone. All right, so we're going to get out of there, and we're going to go to Wi-Fi mode, and we're going to hit OK. And here you got 2.4G or 5G. Well, I'm going to leave mine on 5G. That way when I transfer files from the dashcam to my cell phone, it's going to have a faster bit rate there. So we're going to select that one, and we're going to hit OK to get out of there. Here we go. Now we got your Wi-Fi information. And there it is. And your password is on the bottom. And the default is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you ever forget your password, it's going to be right there. All right, we're going to arrow back out of there. One more time, voice control. We're going to hit OK. Now this is what I like, because it gives you a certain sensitivity. So you can hit on low sensitivity, your standard, or high sensitivity. I'm going to leave mine on standard, because there's some dash cams, when you're talking to someone in your car, it automatically thinks sometimes you're saying commands and it starts doing things. So this is what I like. And we're going to hit OK. Next one is voice content. And we're going to hit OK. And these are all your voice commands when you want to use your voice control. And we'll get to that in just a minute there. And we're going to hit OK. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to go over all the voice commands so you can see them at work. All right, so those were all the voice commands. So now let's get out of there, arrow back. We're going to go down one and format your SD card. All right, we're going to click OK to format SD card. And then you go to the right to select that check mark. And then you hit OK. Now, I don't need to format my SD card because I got files in here that I really need to show you guys at the end of this video. So we're going to hit back, hit X, and hit OK. Next one down is format reminder. And this is one of the best tools it has in here. And we're going to select OK. Now here, it'll tell you to format your SD card in 15 days or 1 month. Or you could select off. I recommend to keep it at least 1 month. And the reason you need to select this and you need to leave this on, because your micro SD card is deleting and recording new files over and over and over. And then your G sensor files, which are your lock files, are creating less space for your loop recording, because those G sensor files cannot be erased by loop recording. So they're taking additional space on there. So that's why you want to format this at least once a month. All right, so I'm going to keep mine on 1 month. After 1 month, there's going to be a prompt. Do not ignore that. Follow the prompts. All right, we're going to select OK. Actually, I'm going to go to 15 days because I record continuously and I'm always doing something with these vehicles and dash cams. All right, so I'm going to select OK. I'm going to arrow down to date and time. Now, you can set this GPS automatically with your update through your cell phone or your app. And we're going to hit OK. You can turn this off or on. I'm going to leave mine on. Next one, to set the date and time manually, we're going to select OK. And it says, please turn off GPS automatic. Okay, so we got to do that first. So we're going to hit OK. Go back. Let's go back up to GPS update. We're going to hit OK. We're going to turn that off. We're going to select OK. We're going to go down. We're going to select OK. And here we could go ahead and select it. Now here you see the 03 is highlighted. Now if this is OK, you hit OK. And then it prompts to the next one. You see the 13th. If this is not the right day, you could arrow up or you could arrow down to change the date. But that date is fine. And you keep hitting OK until everything is changed. And once everything is changed, you just hit the back arrow key. Here we go. Next one, auto switch. We're going to select that. You can hit off or to United States. Well, we're going to hit United States because that's where we really want it. And I think this is the daylight savings time. I'm going to select OK. And the next one is date format. We're going to hit OK. Here you can select how you want your date. You want month, day, year, year, month, day, or month, day, year. I'm going to keep mine on the standard month, day, year because that's what I'm used to. I'm going to select OK. And we're going to arrow down to time format. We're going to hit OK. Now you could go to 24-hour mode or 12-hour mode. A lot of people in the military get used to that 24-hour mode, or depending where you work, you might use that 24-hour mode. I'm used to the standard 12-hour mode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to arrow right to go down, then I select OK. Next one down, time zone. We're going to hit OK. And here you select your time zone. For my time zone, I'm Central, so I pair it with Chicago. I'm going to hit OK to get out of there. Back one more time. But then I'm going to go back into time, and I'm going to go to automatic updates. I'm going to select OK. I'm going to turn that back on because that's where I want it at. That won't have to mess with anything there. All right, I'm going to arrow back one more time. Go down to auto LCD off. We're going to select OK. And you can have this off 30 seconds, 1 minute, or 3 minutes. And I like to have my LCD on. I like to see the rear camera at all times. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to keep this on 3 minutes. No, I'm sorry. We're going to keep this. Now, if you don't want your screen on, you could have it turn off after 30 seconds, or you could have it turn off after 1 minute, or turn off after 3 minutes. But I like to have this always on. So I'm going to keep it on off then. All right, next one down is LCD brightness. All right, next we have LCD brightness. Now let's get in there. And you could have it on auto, high, medium, or low. So basically your screen here will brighten up depending on the environment that it's in right now. So if it's dark, it'll heighten. If it's too bright in the car, it'll lower it. That way you can see the LCD screen with no problems or glare. So I'm going to keep mine on auto the way it does it all the time, and I don't have to do anything. Boom. Air out of that. Next one is device sound, and we're going to click OK. But before we do that, I want you to hear all the prompts it has. All right, you hear all that, right? So now I'm going to hit OK. Now you could hire the prompts. You hear that? So that's pretty much what it is. Now, I don't need it that loud and keep it on the default. I'm going to hit OK. Now, next one down is your warning tone, and we're going to click OK. So this is when it powers on, you get a sound, and it'll tell you what it is. Or you can have a key sound, a file lock sound. When it saves a file, it will give you a certain sound that comes out. A format reminder sound, or a abnormal stop recording reminder. So it has all these features, all these prompts that will give a sound effect for you. That way you know what's happening. If you don't want any of these, you just want to keep the dash cam in there, let it do its thing, not worry about any sounds, you could just simply go to OK on each one and take each one off. Or if you want to select which ones you want, then you just select OK and it'll turn back on. And you heard that sound. So let's go back up to hear the next one. All right, there you go. You heard that. And let's go up. Let's select OK. And now we're going to turn it on. Oh, that's the key sound. So, of course, not going to make a sound. All right, let's go back up, hit OK, and turn it back on. All right, so all these sounds you could have. Let's go back to the last one because we didn't hear that one. All right, we're going to turn it on. All right, you heard that little sound. All right, so that's pretty much what they are. I'm going to leave mine on. It's always good to have just a little prompt to let me know something happened. Arrow back out. Next one is frequency. And we're going to select OK. Now, I live in the US, so I'm going to keep mine on 60. If you don't live in the US, you might want to keep it on 50. I'm going to arrow back out since it's on 60. Next one down is system information. And we're going to click OK. So here you go, gives you all the information about your dash cam. We're going to arrow back out. Go down one. Certification information. There you go. Has all that. Going to arrow back out. Next one down, default settings. We're going to hit OK. Now, I don't want to change everything back to the default. I'm going to go back and hit cancel. Now, if you're going to give your dash cam to somebody else, or you sell it, or you transfer one vehicle to another, maybe they want a different settings, you could simply just go down and select OK. You can reset your dash cam to the default settings. I'm going to hit cancel and hit OK. And we're out of there. And we're going to go now to the next one down, which is back up at language. All right, so we've gone over those files. We're going to back up one more. So we've gone over the system setup, and we've gone over record setup. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to this channel because it really helps this channel out and enables me to give you more content like this. If you are interested in this dash cam, I'll put links in the description down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, select all notifications, because I also got the app review of this. I have the review of this dash cam. I also have the unboxing, and I also have the step-by-step installation on this. And of course, I have how to install this hardwire kit into your vehicle. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.